Have you wanted to start a business but just aren't sure if it's the right time? How do you know if you are meant to start a business? That is what we are tackling today on the Possibility Mom Live. Is it time to start a business? For some reason, this has been a topic of much conversation, both in my email as well as in my DMs on Instagram. And so I thought it would be fun to tackle this in a podcast. I hope this is the kind of podcast that you can use as almost a bit of a discernment tool. I think I will turn this into like a quiz or something on my website that people can take because I think these questions are really essential for someone who maybe just isn't sure or who feels like there is this constant like tug for starting a business, but just aren't sure. So I want to read to you something that came into my DMs, and it was a great Instagram post. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put this up on the screen. And essentially, it reads like this. Hi, Lisa. Hold on one second. I can't read it. That's a problem. Hold on. Wait. It reads like this. Hi, Lisa. I just wanted to say I love your page. It's uplifting, inspiring, and real. I'm a homeschool mom of 8 and have tried all sorts of side businesses to help my husband monetarily. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, what does God want of me? Sometimes I think he just wants me to be at home with the kiddos and be a mom and just be a mom. And other times I feel like opportunities fall into my lap and I should run with it. Anywho, I'm still praying about all of this. It's a constant prayer. I just wanted to say thank you for posting what you do. You make it look doable without losing your mind or sacrificing one or the other. Now, I think I want to say thank you so much to that person who left me that message. It was very much what inspired today's podcast. And I don't know what it is. I think I've been posting a lot of content about the pursuit of dreams and business recently, and so I've been flooded. Like, for some reason recently, people have been asking me all kinds of questions about, how do you know if it's time, or if you should, or if God wants you to do it? So I invite you to use this podcast as a little bit of a discernment tool. All right, so the first question I would invite people to consider, if it's time to start a business as a Catholic mama, which is primarily the people who are in my world, is, do you feel called? What do I mean by do you feel called? Does this come from a place that is almost like beyond yourself? So there's this passion that isn't just because you have an interest. It's like, you were destined to do it. I remember as a child, my mom pointed out quite a bit, like, Lisa, you'd make a great motivational speaker. And I remember being like, as a kid, she would tell me things like that. Or maybe like in my teens, when I guess I started speaking more publicly, so to speak. She'd just be like, you'd be a great speaker. And she would point it out quite a bit. And I always knew that I loved to encourage people by speaking. Like, it wasn't just a skill. And so this feeling called is very much like, it's something bigger than you. There is something beyond you that comes not just in talent and not just in the way that you execute, but there is a calling. It is a passion. And it leads you to my next question, that I believe is a great question to ask yourself. Number 2, does it give you life? So this thing that you might be toying with to create as a business, is it the kind of thing that when you do it, it actually brings you energy? I remember talking to a friend when I lived in Toronto. She was a fellow mom of a lot of kids, and she was an excellent public speaker. And I remember her telling me, like, It takes a lot of effort for me to get out of the house. I feel kind of bad about doing it. The kids don't like it when I leave, like all these things just to get out the house. She described it to me, I remember, as sometimes I need to be dragged or pushed out the door to do it. But when I get home, I am so full of energy. I have been so renewed. And this is a really great question. If you're going to do this as a business, it should give you life. I think anything that brings us away from our children, we want to pay attention to, is this thing bringing me life? It might not be that everything brings you life. So, for example, finances in my business, or like the more minutia of it, like the accounting. I love looking at numbers in terms of am I making, but the sort of, getting things ready for taxes, all that kind of stuff doesn't thrill me. So it doesn't mean that everything in your business is going to give you life, but the thing that you do. So for me, coaching, speaking, getting people excited, it should bring you so much energy. That is a really great indication. If the thing that you think you could make a business brings you life and energy, that is a great clue to know if you are meant to start a business. Question number 3 to ask yourself is, do you have competency in it? Is it something, the thing that you want to start a business, is it something you're actually good at? Because there is a difference between something you are passionate about or want to make a hobby or just simply enjoy. It can give you life. It can be something you feel called to, but you do have to have some level of competency in the thing in order to make it a business. Let me give you an example. I love to sing, and I love to dance, and I love to perform. But I do not believe I could, do I like make it on Broadway, so to speak. Like, I don't think that I have that level of competency to star in a Broadway show. I mean, you never know. You never know. But my point is while I think I can sing and dance and act, and I think I have a fair level of competency in it, I don't think I have the level of competency in those areas to make it a profession. Something that is a passion and that lights you up can perhaps be a hobby, but I do believe that there needs to be some level of competency in the thing that you want to charge people for in order to make it a business. Now, I do want to say a caveat here. I would not allow your competency level to necessarily stop you, because everyone can grow in competency. I can become a better coach. I started coaching with very little training in coaching, you know? So there are some exceptions that can come to mind. Of course, I would never want somebody to build themselves out as something that should be licensed, for example, like a clinical therapist or whatnot, without some training there. But there are many other genres where you can grow in your competency. And so I would not say that you need to be at some level of competency in order to start a business. But having a sense of, is this something I'm actually competent at that I can transfer and teach or advise to someone else, is a really good indicator of, is should this become a business, or maybe this is just a passion, like my love of singing and dancing and acting. Question number 4, is there a market for it? This is a really important question. Something that I see in people that come to me for coaching is perhaps a incorrect identification of the problem they are solving. So I want to invite you to consider that business is simply an exchange of money for a problem being solved. I help people unlock their potential in business and motherhood. I teach people in simple ways how to start a business. That is a problem that they perhaps are on the internet searching for, that I can provide a solution for. That's what I mean. Is there a market for it? Now, there are I believe that there can be very obscure and very narrow markets. I remember meeting somebody at a marketing conference who was so specific in their niche. They did coaching for ultimate frisbee clubs, like not even like professional ultimate frisbee. It was like, you want to create like an ultimate frisbee league. I'm going to teach you how. And I just remember being like, that is so interesting that there is a market for it. Some simple ways that you can see if there is a market for it is doing a Google search and seeing what comes up in the Google Analytics. Like you can actually search for keywords that are common. Just literally put into Google keyword search, and you will see what I mean. There are some resources out there that can help you understand. What this does is shows you what people are searching for. And so if someone is searching for the most random niche product or problem, you can very likely turn that into a business. One of my early marketing mentors or business mentors, Ryan Levesque, built an entire business around orchid care. He built another business around Scrabble tile jewelry. So you might think, no one will ever pay me for this. I want to invite you to take it to a Google keyword search, and you might be pleasantly surprised. So, is there a market for it? And similarly here, is it a problem that this person knows they have? That is a very important note to write down. Your customer has to know they have this problem in order to want to purchase it. Okay, so is there a market for it? Question number 5 for my Jesus loving mamas listening to this. Have I prayed about it? I think, of course, too often, or not too often, but like we can get excited about multiple things. Let me go back to my Broadway. There was a time when I thought, oh my gosh, like maybe like this is a thing I'm supposed to like do, like I love to sing and dance and perform. Maybe this is something that I can do. There is a difference between just something that you enjoy and then something that the Lord is inviting you to use as a gift for others. And the way that we can gain clarity on this is praying about it. Lord, is this what you want me to use my time and talent and what you've given me for? Is this a good steward of am I being a good steward of my abilities, of my time by pursuing this business? Enter into prayer. Chances are, if this is on your heart and it hasn't gone away, you're probably supposed to do it. But the only way to know for sure is to ask the Lord very directly. I would invite you to be real bossy. I am very bossy with the Lord. Be real bossy and just be like, Lord, is this what you want for my life? If it is, show me very clearly I'm supposed to do this. And I believe that the Lord is a provider of good gifts and he will provide you the clarity that you need. But we've got to pray about it. Question number 6. This is a good one. Do I have buy in from my husband? So I primarily talk to moms. The moms who typically are attracted to me and my work are Catholic moms who have perhaps one or two or many like me. This is a really important aspect, and I want to provide a few thoughts on this particular question. My husband and I have been through all kinds of journeys in terms of how we have shared the workload, the ability to earn money load, all the things. There have been times where he has been the primary breadwinner. There have been times where I have been the primary breadwinner. There have been times when we've been a combo platter of both. We have tried literally everything under the sun. I have worked side hustles while working traditional jobs. I have exclusively been an entrepreneur. I have exclusively done side hustles. Like we have done all the things. And what is so important is that you get on the same page. How do you get on the same page as your spouse? You got to just have honest conversations and clarity around what will this benefit our family. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but just having some clarity around, if I do this, it will benefit me here. If I don't do this, this is the outcome of that. I think it's important also for spouses to have conversations around the cost of working or the cost of starting a business. I have a worksheet actually in my book. If you go to my website, the Possibility Mom book downloads for my book, there is all kinds of things to consider about the cost of actually working that I want to invite you to consider. But the thing that I think is important to note here and pause upon is that if you don't have your husband's buy-in, and so if he says, I don't know how we could take on anything else, if he says, this is a lot of risk, if he says, this is expensive, if he says, I think you really should just be 100% focused on the kids at home, I want to encourage you to not give up. In no way am I saying that you go against your husband. But what experience has shown me in my life is that sometimes a no is not yet. And so I think this requires the skill of just honest communication. I think this requires also docility and obedience, but not just like obedience to your husband, but like obedience to trusting in timing. That if you are discerning and you are both being honest and vulnerable and are conscientious of the thoughts that you're bringing into a conversation, that the Lord will provide whatever it is, including time. Which brings me to the next point. Can I free up time for a business? I have coached, honestly, I should do a tally looking at like how many people have invested in coaching with me, how many people have like come to my events, but I would hazard it's in the hundreds for sure of women on time. I think the tendency for any mom, especially at the beginning, is they're going to reflexively say, there is no way I could make time for a business. But here is what I want to propose: time management is a skill. And I have coached moms in all scenarios with, as many kids as me, with only one child, with both parents working outside of the home, with both parents working inside the home. I have coached moms who have farms, hobby farms, full production farms. So I have coached a myriad of moms in every situation. And what it boils down to is how you use your time. I believe that a business can be built in as little as 30 minutes a day. And I mean that so sincerely. I believe that it is a fallacy to believe that the more time you have, the more your business can grow. Are there some realities around how much time you put into a business and what you get out of it? Yes, I'm not trying to be naive. However, what I am trying to suggest is concentrated strategic output can yield an incredible input back. And that we can learn, any mom can learn. If someone as hard headed and choleric as me can learn how to be docile and again obedient in how time is used, I believe that it's possible for all. I really do. But it has to be discerned. Can I free up time for it? There are seasons in a mom's life where there might not be that much extra time. And there are seasons where time can be found. I remember when we first moved to Florida, we were kind of like in a period of great transition. We didn't realize that we could have gotten into the school that is local to me. And so we thought that we had to wait until midterm. Anyways, just there were myriad of reasons that led us to homeschooling. And I homeschooled my children for about 3 months before we sent them to the local school. And that was a harrowing experience. I remember thinking, I have got to figure out other strategies if I am going to work and also homeschool. And so I'm not trying to say that, this is just like snap your fingers and you have a business. There is some specific strategy that needs to go in to managing all the priorities in your life, but I believe that it is 100% possible for a mom in any situation to make time for a business because it is a skill, and it is a skill that I think can be taught. The next question I would invite you to consider, if you are meant to start a business right now or not. This is a really good question. What do I stand to lose? I think this is an amazing question. And so does Andrew. Hello, do you want to say hello? Oh, look, it's a baby. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. What do I stand to lose? And I think it's a question that deserves some pondering. What do I stand to lose? In this little question, I think it's important for people to, oh, look, a baby's going to fly away. Bye, baby. Thanks, Josh. This question often has a lot of thoughts that myself, as a Catholic mindset thought coach, would love to dissect, because I think so much of business gets thwarted because of thoughts we have about ourselves. I have coached women who think that they're going to lose respect from others. So, what are people going to think of me? I remember thinking this about Beauty Counter. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if I sell something like Beauty Counter, people are going to think I'm just like a nuisance and a this and a that. I had all these thoughts around selling something like Beauty Counter. I think that I have coached people who have thoughts around money and that starting a business is selfish and greedy. I have coached people on thoughts around a business is going to make me less holy and that it is somehow less than other pursuits, like it's not a worthy pursuit because it is somehow going to make me less holy. I have coached people on so many things. And so, what I love to advise people is just do something that we call in the coaching world a thought download, where you just list out all the things that you think you might lose in result of starting a business, and then do what we call interrogate that thought. So, is it really true? Whatever you've written down, is it really true? Is it true 100% of the time? Could the opposite of it also be true? And my favorite question, or one of my favorite questions, do I want to follow where this thought will lead me? Or the other edge of that is this thought bearing good fruit? And honestly, it's this is where discernment comes in, but I believe that it is so important that we just get all of these thoughts out of our heads onto paper, become more objective about the thoughts. These is like the principles, so to speak, of mindset coaching. Let's get objective about that thought. And then you can make this decision coming from a clean place, because the majority of the time, many of the thoughts that I just shared around money, around holiness, around greediness, around how will people judge me, the majority of the time that I coach people on these topics, we don't want to follow where they lead. So, what do I stand to lose? Great question around if you should start a business. And the final question, and this is probably my favorite one out of all of them, what do I stand to gain? I have a heart for helping Catholic moms and anyone who is open to that worldview make money and make impact. Let's unpack the impact. I have a heart for helping moms do the thing that they feel called by God. We all have an unrepeatable mission. All of us have a July 2022. I just read this on Emily Wilson's Instagram. We all have a July 2022, this month ahead, that will never happen again. We will only be given the gift of July 2022 one time. And I believe, whether you're called to business or not, we all have a unique, unrepeatable mission that we are meant to live out. And the people that we can help, the people that we can motivate, the lives that we can change and help in their pursuit of sanctity, in their relationship with Jesus, in their interactions as a family, all of that stuff combined can change the world. And I believe that we are constantly seeking that fulfillment, the fulfillment that comes in playing out our mission here on earth. And so, impact. Who are you uniquely supposed to help? Who are you uniquely supposed to, through your work, bring closer to Christ Jesus? Who are you uniquely supposed to impact based on your personal story, your personal strengths, the gifts of the Holy Spirit, your natural strengths, all those things? Who are you supposed to impact? And then let's talk about money. Oh my gosh. You've heard me talk about money on this podcast a fair bit. I want to invite you, if I've got several podcasts around just like straight up money. Is it good? Is it bad? All the things. But what has become so clear to me, I've had so many conversations with particularly Catholic moms in the last few weeks around wanting to ease financial burden at home, wanting to lessen stress financially on their husband, wanting to send their children to the Catholic school of their choice, where in the United States costs a tremendous amount of money typically, wanting to be able to live abundantly, not stress or be overwhelmed about an occasional meal out or going on vacation, be able to contribute to the causes or people, be able to essentially live out God's will for their lives abundantly. Are some people called to poverty? Sure. But I do not believe that is a call for everyone. I believe that it is entirely possible for a family to build generational wealth and also to be abundantly generous with that wealth. And so for me, I get really excited about the idea of gaining financial freedom, financial security, less stress. We all know the stress that happens on our bodies, cortisol, all the things, when there is concern about money and making it every month. And so I love asking this question: what do I stand to gain? Is it freedom? Is it ability to send your children to Catholic school? Is it less stress for your husband? Is it less stress for you? Is it the ability to go on a vacation? Is it the ability to entertain and give? Do a thought download on all of the potential that freedom can give you when there is an additional stream of income coming into a home. If you have gotten to the end of this podcast and you are like, I am ready, I am ready. I want to invite you to join me in my business buffet. My business buffet is a simplified approach to starting an online business. I have taken my 15 years of experience, both offline and online, when it comes to business. I have taken my obsession with purchasing online courses and learning about business and how to make money online and put it into a course that I believe is at a price point that anyone can justify. You get access to me as a coach at a price that makes sense for where you're at without having to wait. This is the thing. I hear so often people tell me, I would love to have you as my coach, but I have to save up a little bit before I can do that. I want you to be able to start because the reality is when you delay beginning, there are things that could be done while you are saving, while you are growing, while you are doing this in 30-minute pockets that do require time. And I want you to do it now and have that thing like an email list. That's one of the things that I believe people should start as soon as they have an inkling, as soon as they have an itch that they want to start a business. Build that email list now so that you can have it grow and grow and grow and grow. And so when you're ready to launch, you've got a bunch of people who are excited to hear from you. So I want to encourage you. I've put the link to join me in the business buffet. I believe it is an incredibly simplified approach to online business and done in an authentically Catholic manner. And so if you've listened to this podcast and have discerned I am in, let me give you the tools for how at a price point that you can afford today. My friends, I am so grateful that I get to do this with you every single week. I will see you next time on the Possibility Mom Live. I'm just so, I don't know how else to explain it. The fact that this is what I get to talk about and the fact that I can put my cheerleading pom-poms on once a week with all of you to encourage you towards your dreams is just a gift. Please like and subscribe. And if you can leave a message wherever you, or a review rather, wherever you listen to podcasts, it will help get this podcast into the ears of more moms who need it. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.